So I'm over here in Key Colony, and I gotta say it's one of the nicest keys in all the Florida Keys. It's super small, it's right off of Marathon, and what's really good about it, if you want to rent your property out, you can rent it for 7 days or more, which is good because almost all the rest of the Florida Keys, you have to do a 28-day minimum. And this is a great area for boaters. Also, if we've never met before, my name is Solaris Gregory. I'm also a licensed realtor in Key West and all the Florida Keys. And my wife, Marcella, my daughter, Venice, and our puppy, Honey, we were all born and raised here. We just love this island lifestyle. And please like and subscribe because this is a good way to educate yourself about Key West and the Florida Keys. Welcome to paradise. Today we're going to be diving into the Florida Keys best kept secret, Key Colony. I love this place. Every time I go there, I think it's one of the most beautiful places in all the Florida Keys. Key Colony is located right in the middle of the Florida Keys, right off of Marathon, mile marker 53, and it's a tiny little city, and it's only 1 square mile. What makes this city very interesting is that almost every single house is right on the water. Some of them are on canals, and then some of them are facing the Atlantic Ocean. So in this community, it's a very laid-back, tight-knit community. You have people always just walking their dogs and riding bikes through there and going to the beach. And it's a really cool, laid-back environment. What I love about this community is the apartments are nice. There's some duplexes there that are really nice, and then some big, beautiful homes and some average-sized homes. But when you walk outside of those properties, it's just a very beautiful community. And there's a little golf course. It's a 9-hole par 3 right in the middle of the city. It's really neat. So Key Colony has its own government, its own city hall, and its own police force. I would say one of the only drawbacks is that there's not much going on there, especially at night. The landscaping there is immaculate, and it's one of the most cleanest, peaceful communities in all the Florida Keys. So this island is completely about the laid-back lifestyle. The condos range there from about $500,000 to $900,000. You're looking at about $600 to $1,000 a square foot. The homes range from about $1 million to well over $4 million, and you're looking at about $700 to $1,200 a square foot. Key Colony has very strict zoning rules, but what's really good about the rentals there, having that weekly rental allows you, if you wanted to offset some of the costs or even make a good profit, those weekly rentals are really good compared to the rest of the Florida Keys, because the rest of the Florida Keys having that 28-day minimum, it doesn't allow them to be able to rent it on especially those bigger dates, like, for instance, mini lobster season is coming up. So the reason why I was just up there was I had just sold a property up there for about $2 million, and that same buyer called me up and said that he's doing a 1031 exchange with another property and wants to move his money into that Key Colony area because he absolutely loves it and he's making a good profit. One of the reasons people love it there, not just because it's beautiful, but it's very practical. You're only 2 hours away from the mainland, and so it's like an hour and 20 minutes closer to the mainland than Key West. So it's easier to get to from the mainland, but then also, you know, they have the Cabana Club there. I think it's $6,000 for the year, and you can use the saltwater pool. There's a bar there, and there's a beautiful beach as well. There's also Wi-Fi is included with that membership. So in Key Colony, you're very close to the grocery store. There's quite a few schools in Marathon, and then there's also a bunch of marinas right there. And then you're also bike riding distance of, you know, the entire town, which is really cool. And if you do decide that you want to enjoy the nightlife of Key West, you're probably about an hour and 20 minutes away from Key West nightlife. But in Marathon, they have a lot of good restaurants and bars that have good live music. So there's a lot of great restaurants there. There's Sparky's, there's a fish company, there's Tarpon Creek, and there is probably 20 others that are just right there in that area, right at your fingertips. So the community there is super friendly. As I'm driving through there, everyone waves to you as you're driving through, which it makes you feel very welcome. And the people there that I talk to are just super nice. So now I'd like to talk about the pros and cons of living in that area or owning property in that area. Let's talk about the pros first. The pros would be, first of all, it's a boater's paradise. There's deep water access, and you can easily get to the Gulf side and the Atlantic side very easily. So another pro would be that it is super clean and beautiful place, and I would say it's probably the safest area in all the Florida Keys. So you also have the quiet small town feel, but you also have that wonderful little par 3 9-hole golf course, which is really awesome. Another pro, which I mentioned before, is those vacation rentals. Those 7 days are a huge plus as far as renting your property out. I also really like that it's centrally located in the Florida Keys, so it's easy if you want to access the mainland. So another plus is the property values there. The property values there are going to be very stable because of those rental properties. It does drive the price up a little bit, but a lot of those people buy them as investment properties. Another plus is that a lot of those properties are built above flood. So now let's dive into the cons of that area. So property values definitely are inflated a little bit because of those rental properties, because a lot of people buy them as investment properties, so it does drive the price up a little bit. Another con in that area would be that a lot of the property sizes are smaller, especially some of the smaller duplexes. You don't have a lot of land around there, but the property itself is expensive because a lot of people do those short-term rentals. And if you're living in that area and you're next to a short-term rental, sometimes they can be down for the week just a party. So you may get some disruption there if you're living there long-term, or if you're just visiting and you have someone next door that is a rental property and they're partying. Another con would be that you're living in this very small area, so there's very limited inventory. So there's a lot of people that want to be there, and so that drives the price up as well because it's a very tight-knit community and there's only so much properties. A lot of people want to live there. Another con would be the main beach that's there is the Cabana Club, and you have to pay $6,000 a year to use it. I would say another con for that area, with something like mini season and you're there, there's going to be a ton of other boats there. It's going to be very populated, and it does get a little dangerous, especially if you're in the water there trying to get lobster. Some of those boaters, they don't know what they're doing, and I have heard and seen accidents. So Key Colony is such a beautiful area, and please leave a comment below if you have anything to add or any questions. I answer them personally. Also, if you're thinking about making a move to Key West, the Florida Keys, my contact information is below, along with my calendar. And while I was over there, I was able to check out a property with Katie Carrillo from LPT Realty, 641 12th Street, listed at 2.39. And I'm going to show you the clips right now. And please, just keep living that island lifestyle.